distinguished guests, respected faculty members, industry leaders, and dear participants. It gives me immense pleasure to welcome you all to the track 3 of the GHMRC 2026 here at the IIHMR University. First of all, my sincere gratitude and thanks to all our eminent speakers, Madam Madhumita Manna ma'am, Mr. Gaurav Rohila sir, Mr. Das sir. Madam, thank you very much, and sir, thank you so much for accepting our invitation. May I request the audience to give a big round of applause to the speakers. We are privileged to have such an eminent galaxy of speakers today. Friends, today the theme AI for the market access, forecasting and pharma commercial excellence, it captures a transformative shift occurring across the pharmaceuticals and the healthcare system. And artificial intelligence is no longer a futuristic concept. It is actively redefining how we are forecasting the demands, optimize the pricing strategy, enhance the market access, and strengthen the brand engagement, and ultimately improve the patient reach. So the track aims to bridge the academia and the industry by exploring how the innovations in the AI can translate into sustainable healthcare outcome and the business growth. And we have with us Madam Madhumita Manna ma'am, with extensive experience in commercial strategy and brand management. She brings valuable insight into how the AI-powered strategies are reshaping the pharmaceutical and the medical device marketing, strengthening the consumer engagement and enhancing the competitive positioning. We are also honored to have with us Mr. Gaurav Rohila sir, Group Head, Group Pricing and Market Access at Sandoz India. His expertise is in global pricing framework, reimbursement strategies, and market access planning, and provides a crucial perspective on how the data analytics and forecasting tools influence the strategic decision making across the international market. Another very eminent speaker for today is Mr. Amit Kumar Das sir, Country Head, Novo Nordisk India, and with rich leadership experience in multinational pharmaceutical operations. Mr. Das brings valuable insights into the talent readiness, commercial excellence, and how AI-driven innovations are shaping the future healthcare force. So together our speakers, they represent a synergy between the academia, multinational pharma leadership, pricing strategy experts, and I'm very sure that you will get a lot of insights from the pharma market. So as we move through today's session, I encourage all to participate actively, engage yourself, ask thoughtful questions, and reflect on how the AI can responsibly and strategically integrate into the market access. Once again, I extend a warm welcome to all of you speakers, delegates, and the participants, and we look forward to an enriching, insightful session. Thank you very much. I wish you all a very highly engaging track 3 discussion. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, sir, for your wonderful address. Your words have truly set a positive and inspiring tone for the session.
It is now a privilege to introduce our distinguished speakers for the session. Our first speaker is Ms. Madhumita Manna ma'am, Vice President Sales and Marketing at Akar Medical Technologies Limited, Mumbai. Ms. Manna ma'am is a senior commercial leader in the healthcare sector who leads business growth, market expansion, and brand strategy across medical technology segment. With prior experience at Dr. Reddy's Laboratories and Pfizer, she brings deep expertise in healthcare marketing, product strategy, and customer engagement. Her leadership is recognized for driving sustainable growth and strengthening market presence through the strategic execution.
We are honored to invite Ms. Manna ma'am to the dais to address the audience. The stage is all yours, ma'am.
Thanks to these two ladies for the kind introduction. I don't know what to say. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, or should I address as good morning data points? With AI on the rise, I think we all have become data points. Walking, talking, sleeping data points. So whether, I mean, we talk a lot about AI, but we are moving with AI every minute of the day. Your phone, your app, your payment gateways, your food apps, Facebook, your social media, everything is about AI because it is integrating a lot of data. So AI, which is popularly known as artificial intelligence, sometime back I would say that, it was like an alien intelligence, it's not for me. कुछ बड़े लोग कुछ data analysis करते हैं, who are possibly from the, computer data science background, and that's artificial intelligence, but it's not so anymore. It's an intelligence which we all have to acquire, and that's the true reality today. So good morning, ladies and gentlemen. The pharmaceutical industry actually stands between a cusp, a very, very critical point of science, which it was always steeped into, but data is making it more responsible, and data is helping access areas which pharmaceutical always found very, very difficult to access. For decades, our mission has been very, very clear. It is to deliver and improve the quality of life and save lives. So if you look at what point we are standing today, AI is not a future technology. It is now here, and it is reshaping our understanding of the patient, forecast, demand, engaging the patient, engaging the doctors or the providers, more importantly, expanding the access and maintaining a very, very high commercial excellence. And that's something which is going to stay, and it is only going to evolve further. Today, my talk points, as briefed by Dr. Saurabh Banerjee, has three very critical things that I would cover, and most of it that I will cover will be with some of the personal experiences across my personal life, across my professional life that I have experienced. So it is market access and patient centricity, forecasting and supply chain resilience, commercial excellence with responsibility, and how AI really is helping us to deliver that. AI and market access now, you can say from price to, so if you look at the pharmaceutical industry, it was a very formulation, product, price-driven sector. It is transiting to something what we are going to deliver value to the patient. So what we really started with about a couple of decades ago was that I have the right product. आप अपने patient को ये prescription दो, give this prescription to the patient. Today, it is completely transforming into saying this is the patient and how I can tailor make the product for him or her to get the right solution to her diagnostics, okay? So globally, payers, governments, providers are asking what real-time value does the therapy deliver to the patient? So patient, what has AI transformed, that the sea change that I see as a leader from couple of decades back that I joined the pharmaceutical industry, having a background in FMCG. When I came to the pharmaceutical industry, it was about I have this patented product, I have this patented technology. To what I now see is patient centricity. It says that are we really transforming the lives by delivering a certain value to the patient? Whether it is electronic health records, claim data, genomics, diagnostics, treatment, adherence patterns, treating high-risk patients, non-responders, patients who benefit from early interventions, for example, a cancer patient. For example, somebody who is going to possibly have a heart attack. Impact on all these patients have a very high early diagnostics because of the AI-led devices or the AI-generated apps that are existing today. There is a lot of impact on market access. So at one point in time, the pharmaceutical industry was struggling to say that, this patient is in some remote Timbuktu, say Ladakh, and how do I reach there? And today, all the apps like Pristine, etc., who are all AI-driven, not only have the record of their patient, but exactly know where the patient needs to be directed in terms of which doctor is going to impact and improve his quality of life. Evidence-based pricing discussion, outcome-linked reimbursement models, and I'm sure other speakers are going to speak a little bit more about it. There's a reduced hospitalization because of AI, and I'm going to tell you an example. So about a couple of weeks back, my father collapsed suddenly, and he had to be admitted in the hospital. And it was something called as cardiac syncope, where your heart stops for a nanoseconds, okay? And for almost 7 days he was in the hospital, but his oxygen level saturation was coming up to 89, which meant that there were points where the doctor monitored that the saturation level was going down, and that would result in his collapse, okay? And he's still going through that. In the normal case, the patient would have been hospitalized and been there for, I don't know, maybe a month, because, it's been now the 3rd week and he's still onto it. But what really happened was the sea change, a device that was attached to the left-hand side of his chest, which monitors his every vital, including the oxygen levels at periodic levels. So the data gets transferred at 7 o'clock in the morning, 2 o'clock in the afternoon, 7 o'clock in the evening. This helps monitor his oxygen saturation levels. It not only gives that, at what point in time the fluctuations are happening. Is it happening while he's walking, while he's eating, while he's sleeping? What kind of medication needs to be given, at what time? It is throwing up all that data. Today, I feel safe standing here, even though he is still struggling with the problem because of AI, because I know that he is on continuous monitoring by people at home who have the data coming onto their mobile, and the doctor who is also having the data on their mobile. So that's how I think the entire cost of hospitalization or healthcare is coming down, and this is completely a live example. Affordability and global healthcare, if you look at, let me come to the other topic, which is affordability and global healthcare, and AI is actually an equalizer. A critical concern, sometime back I spoke that, today AI is helping us think patient centricity from product centricity. Now, in a market like India, which is so diverse, where I don't know how many thousands of dialects are spoken, there are obscene numbers of dietary menus which are being served across India. The access to some places, possibly today also, by road, it's difficult. So combining, in a country like this, combining each of the data points, whether it is the behavioral traits, epidemiology data, income segment, regional treatment pathways. When I say regional treatment pathways, which means that, this person has this problem. So if he's in this region, in this city, in this locality, how does he get access to that healthcare is becoming possible, because there is so much of data being accumulated and data being thrown on us, which makes these decisions extremely easy. AI also recommends differential access strategies. So if you're looking at, tiered pricing models for some of your products, because in India we have metros, we have several classes of cities. We have metros, class 1, class 2, class 2 to 4, then class 6, and then you have rural, and there may be geographical priorities that you want to give to a certain pricing model. This can be done exactly by AI. To just give you another live case, see, I come from very structured companies like Pfizer and Torrent, and today I'm at Akar Medical Technologies, which is a mid-sized company. Also, it is in an industry which is a little unorganized, and data points are very, very a serious challenge. So I have to launch a product, which is a new tech product, which is not there in India. It is an exosome product, very high-end product. And therefore, what do I do? So what I actually did is drop down a lot of, cull out a lot of secondary data from market research, which is available. Look at internal data of at least last 9 years. Then look at, do survey of some of the doctors who are very critical doctors for this kind of products, because they will be the ones who will be treating the patient with a product which will possibly cost 25,000 and above to him, but the treatment cost will be 1 lakh. What I've done is, for launch of this product, I had to aggregate several points of data, and human have their limitations. So I took all the data points, cleaned them up completely, and I put in a AI platform called as Cloud AI. From the gut feeling that we had internally, that I just can launch this product in 4 metros, baki ke doctors nahi lenge, and maybe the top 100 dermatologists are going to prescribe this product or do the treatment of the patient with this product. That data said something which was completely eye-opener. It moved my data points from launching to 200 doctors to about 400 doctors across cities, and cities like Indore, cities like Jaipur have thrown up on those. And why these cities, what kind of behavior the dermatologists are, what kind of patient inflow is happening, it has given me everything. And everything in matter of few hours. Of course, I took a long time to clear the data. AI will give you the best data if you have given the prompt. You have to have clarity in your mind that what prompt you need to give, and it will throw up things which you've never imagined. AI, when it comes to forecasting, as I said, in an unorganized segment, in fact, if you look at pharma, it has a lot of data points. You have the IQVIA data for OTC, you have the consumer OTC data, then you have the SMRC data, which is the RX data. Now, if you have to make sense of this data, and every data point speaks to you, and every data point should connect for you to get a great strategy. And I think in the last 3 years that I have started slowly adopting to this technology, it gives you a lot of clarity. And this manual interventions of mujhe ye lagta hai, the gut feel, it takes off. Even if you have a gut feel because you have 20 years of experience and your brain is processing the data the way it is, your gut feel can be completely validated by AI. So what happens is, your forecast with so many data sets being analyzed at the same time, and therefore connecting the dots in one sync, it's much more accurate than I would have done a few years back. Not only that, today I have data of my MR going to a certain doctor, taking a laptop, which page he is detailing, where the eye of the physician is moving, what is the content that the physician is learning, at what time is he meeting this. You have data to that granular level, and that really, really helps. And therefore what happens is, when your forecast is accurate, your stock out situations are managed, the inventory write-offs are managed, and therefore this kind of forecast and this kind of accuracy of forecast helps very high value products like your vaccines, like I have cold chain in derma, so that kind of things, biologicals. And that is why it is very critical that we use AI extensively for analysis of the data and for the forecast, so that you get accuracy. And I really see a lot of change in the last few years. When you come to supply chain, for example, some of the companies were still setting up the supply chain, and from my FMCG days, I've seen companies who are a little erratic when it comes to supply chain. For example, there are companies which will have a CNF and directly bill from the CNF. There are companies which will have a CNF, then they will have distributors, then they will have sub-distributors, etc., etc. What happens is demand across, and then it goes to retail. What happens is, sometimes to predict what should be the optimum stock, what will be the optimum demand, and what should be therefore the optimum stock across these kind of supply chain, the trade points that we are talking about, gets very difficult. But if you have this data fed into your system, your billing data, your stocking up data, your data from the retail, if you put all that together, the supply chain is very, very resilient. And we have very, very recently gone through COVID, which really needed extremely high intervention on supply of certain medicines, and AI could do a lot of magic there. It can also predict, for example, the other day, I had to send one product, which was very important, from here to a place which was somewhere near Ghaziabad. And the courier was going and it had to reach within certain hours. And I kept getting the data on my table because the doctor wanted to do a procedure. It was a plastic surgeon, extremely urgent. I kept getting the data from the freight that this point. So it was very critical because the procedure had to be delayed by about a couple of hours because the product took so much of time to reach. But the doctor at the end of the day could communicate to his patient that it is getting delayed by 2 hours. So to get that kind of data which can really help the doctor to decide, tell the patient what needs to be done at what hour, what is going to be happening, it's just amazing, which we are seeing just now. There is also with this data, we can do a lot of, the manufacturing process requires a lot of planning. The data makes this very, very important. So, this AI now is it's not optional. This entire resilience that we have to show from the manufacturer manufacturing to the end point, which is the patient value addition, requires a lot of resilience, and therefore, AI has become an important part of this resilience journey. It is giving an quick access. Engaging the provider has never been so easy. As I said some time back, when you look at an MR, the MRs are now moving around with laptops, okay? And the laptop is throwing up data as to where the MR is, at what doctors listening to what detailing, what content is being spoken. And therefore, in the healthcare world, when you all will be going for marketing, there is something called as CMEs and webinars. So you know exactly the kind of doctor you should be inviting for this kind of webinar, because this doctor possibly likes this scientific data. So it is going up to that level. The doctor specialty also involves a lot of educational content that needs to be given. So there was earlier randomly some product education leaflet would be made and given to the doctor. But slicing and dicing that and giving to the doctor exactly what he wants is something which AI is providing. Also, when we are designing a scientific literature, for example, AI is throwing up so much of clinical data, clinical trials, research, that when you are designing that, the credibility of the data, the credibility of the science behind the product is endorsed by multiple, 360-degree end. So it's not that, the medical director and Madhumita, the head of marketing, possibly is doing this. It is being substantiated by a lot of clinical trials which has happened somewhere else. It is substantiated by a lot of research papers, which is somewhere else. So we don't now just look at 4 or 5 research papers. We look at a 360-degree, maybe 50 research papers, so many clinical trials to derive at that. Also, with great power, with AI, there's a lot of responsibility which comes in. And therefore, I had mentioned some time back that it is very important that you give the right feed to AI. Your brain has to be trained. So, you just don't go feed up the data and say, ye karo. You have to first plan what exactly you think is needed by the doctor, by the patient, by the system, and then put that. Because while AI is making things very transparent, sometimes when you give the wrong prompt, it can actually throw up a lot of wrong things. So it's a very responsible kind of thing. So you have to make sure that data that is thrown is correct and also have regulatory alignment. Some of the key principles that also needs to be for doing responsible AI is patient privacy, because you have the patient data. You have to have human oversight in critical decisions, so human is not out. Human is very much needed to run this AI. It's just that our brain has to relearn a lot of things. alignment with regulatory and ethical frameworks. So what I say and what I feel is the future is about integrated commercial intelligence. The future of pharma excellence is not AI replacing people, but AI also augmenting human judgment. If you have a very nicely integrated system, say the market access strategy is integrated with the forecasting, integrated with the supply chain and the field force execution, and all the trade elements that are coming with it, the entire thing will be real-time and seamless. So I want to just leave you with this thought that AI is just not a tool for efficiency. It is a tool for equity, access, and better decision-making. And companies who will win will, in the future, will be the ones who will use AI to improve their lives of the patient, balance commercial ambition with social responsibility, and also build a lot of trust alongside. So with that, I end my thoughts that I could share with you all from my own learning experience and things that I have seen in the industry. I'm open to any kind of questions. We could have it here, or we could also discuss about it later. So thank you very much for the patient listening, and let us now make this alien technology, artificial intelligence, as a technology which we have acquired and here to stay. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for your inspiring and thoughtful words. We truly are grateful for your impactful and insightful address. We truly appreciate it, ma'am.
Moving ahead, our next speaker is Mr. Gaurav Rohila sir, Group Head, Global Pricing and Market Access at Sandoz, Hyderabad. With over 18 years of experience in pricing, market access, forecasting, and strategic business analysis within the global pharmaceutical industry, Mr. Rohila sir has worked with leading organizations including Novartis, GSK Knowledge Center, and Pharmac. He is known for leading cross-functional teams and mentoring talent while delivering strategic business outcomes.
It is my privilege to invite Mr. Gaurav Rohila sir on the stage to share his valuable words with us. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, everyone, and I'm really privileged to be here. And I don't know what I can add more after Ms. Madhumita's address. She covered pretty much everything that is happening around AI, particularly in the healthcare and pharma domain, right? With her, I would say, extensive on-ground experience, and also she could relate it to the real-life on-ground examples, how AI is touching lives of the patient and everybody in the. So maybe taking cue from that, maybe let's deep dive slightly more into market access, and I will just start with, when we think about pharma, generally as, sorry. Okay. So when we think about pharma, most of the time it comes to our mind about science, innovation, and breakthrough medicines, right? But today I'm going to talk about something equally important, which ensures that those innovation actually reaches to the patient, right? And that's where the market access comes in. So market regulatory, we all know, right, that developing a drug is very expensive and risky business in pharma world, right? It takes a lot of time and resources of a pharma company. And only a few candidates that start in the clinical development, only a few reaches up to the regulatory approval, even after successful clinical trial. And even after successful regulatory approval, it doesn't guarantee the commercial success, because many drugs never get launched, or maybe not become commercially successful because of the the payers do not provide right kind of reimbursement, access, or do not approve the price that we get in. So regulatory approval only gives us the license to sell, while the market access ensure that a company gets paid for the innovation. So that's where market access come in picture to bridge the gap between regulatory approval and drug actually reaching to the patient and company gets paid. And okay, yeah. So from lab to market, there are many stakeholders in the pharma value chain that contribute in defining the commercial success of medicine, right? Starting from pharma company, then patients, physicians, government, HT bodies, and ultimately the payers. And particularly if you talk about the developed market point of view, most of the European market, US market in many ways, because US is very complex market, so federal, out of pocket, private insurance. Payers may define the success because they can restrict or they can make a decision whether a drug actually reaches to the patient or not. So they become one of the important player. And their influence or importance is increasingly getting more and more in today's world. There are multiple factors that are contributing to it. One, everybody knows, right? There is a significant cost burden on healthcare system across the world. And we have seen aging population is increasing in most of the developed market across Europe, US, and even across the world. Market is getting more and more crowded with many Me Too and newer innovation that are coming in the market, and multiple drugs are available to treat the same diseases. So it becomes really difficult for a payer to provide access which justifies the overall value of the product. So that's where you are seeing a shift towards a value-based healthcare. So it is no longer about the clinical safety and efficacy of the product, but the overall value that the product delivers. So, and that's where the market access, what it helps is aligning the interest of patient, aligning the interest of healthcare system in general, and also the pharma company, because pharma company invests a lot in developing a drug. So it is really important that we get paid for it, and by adding some value to healthcare system as well as to patient's life ultimately. And for a successful market access, there are 4 key elements to it, right? One is evidence generation, and I think Ms. Madhumita already talked about a lot about the importance of data in today's world in all the aspects, whether it is generating insights, whether it is maybe on-ground execution of the products, marketing, competitive entice, everything. But from market access point of view, as I mentioned, it is no longer about the clinical efficacy and safety from clinical trial, but also about health economic data, also about the evidences from the real world. So it is really important that we have the right evidence that support the overall value of the product. Second is having a reimbursement strategy and also negotiation, right, to achieve broad and favorable access for our product through reimbursement approval. Next is setting an optimal price, again, which justifies the overall value based on the data that we have. And fourth is also the stakeholder engagement, because we need to engage externally with payers and many other stakeholders to communicate the value from our clinical trial, from our health economic data, from the real world evidences that we have generated, and create the environment which supports the access of those newer and newer therapy which are slightly costlier medicines. And market access is also evolving, as we have seen, right? So in the past, I think you have already touched upon this topic, right? In the past, market access has been a supportive function, and it used to come in picture after the drug is regulatory approved. Then it was more about executing your price against the product and securing the reimbursement and access in the market. And only clinical safety, efficacy and safety data was enough. But with all those changes that are happening in the market, with high cost pressure, with increasing number of products in the market and competition, now only clinical data is not sufficient. You need to provide some more evidence to prove the overall value, and also the increasing influence of payers is increasing, right? So market access is becoming more integral part of the development of the molecule, and it is going to evolve further with the use of latest technology, and also greater reliance on the real world data, and also interconnection of the data, right? So that all the development decisions, so it will become one of the key determinant in terms of taking the development decision in a pharma company. And this time has already started. So many companies are now taking decision based on whether after developing this drug, we will be able to sell it in the market, get a favorable reimbursement. So, and already this is again based on the data that is available from other products, as well as from the clinical data that we have generated and health economic evidence that we have generated. And there is a lot of advanced technology that we can use maybe for analyzing and processing that data. So coming on to AI, so we have seen that there will be greater reliance on the overall data, and also predicting the reimbursement outcome based on the data package or the evidences that we will submit. So in market access also specifically, over the years we have seen increasing use as well as some of the successful use cases. And AI will help us in generating faster insights, which are more integrated, combining all kind of data that we get, internal, external, competition, right? And securing a better access. And in some of the specific area from market access point of view, these are some of the areas where we have seen some of the use cases. For example, in evidence generation and HUR. So, like when you do a systematic literature review, right? Or you do a publication, or you analyze real world data. So AI is of great help because it saves a lot of time and also increase your efficiency, so that you can focus on the actionable insight out of that data. Then it can also help in price optimization by doing simulation based on the dynamic data that comes in based on price and volume changes, build simulations around the prices, and also tells you the optimal price. Again, next is where AI is helping, and we have seen some successful use cases, is in terms of predicting the HT outcome. So when you submit your data package based on your data, what is the probability of success with a particular HT, whether it is NICE in UK or GBA or maybe ICER, what kind of outcome that we can see, or the recommendation that we can see in different markets. Real world evidence, we have already spoken about it. And then also in terms of efficiency driver, AI can also help in generating those value dossiers, and also create the HTA submission document much faster and in a much better way, so that we can focus on and then fine tuning it. So these are some of the use cases. And AI is it's already in our lives, right? And we are using it. So it is not going to get away. And we often hear a lot of, I would say, fear factor about it, and particularly in students' mind who are coming out of college, right? Whether it will eat up our jobs, whether there will be enough opportunity after graduating from college. So yes, definitely there will be some impact, but again in a better way, right? AI will augment professionals. It is not going to replace them, because it will make some of the manual things faster and more efficient, but it is not going to completely eat up the human intelligence that we have. And human intelligence can be used for strategy, judgment, and then communication. So there will be more and more roles in towards that. So no, I would say we need to learn how to use and live with AI, and how we can make use of it for our betterment, right? Not fear from it. Then so just wanted to, because I'm speaking to many students here, right? So there are many areas, particularly within market access, which offers a very diverse career opportunity, right? So it could be in consulting, which is one of the most popular choice among students after graduating college. They can join pharma, and now there is an emerging trend of GCCs in India. Many of the global pharma companies are setting up GCCs in India, and they have some global roles supporting the global pricing and market access strategy, right? So there are many of those opportunities. And with this emerging AI and digital age, and it is very fast growing. So from market access point of view, there are enough opportunity in terms of real world data analysis, data science, AI data science, because there is a need of bridge, right? So you see, there are hardcore coders that work behind the AI architecture. And then there are people maybe like us from the, I would say, from a different age, who knows the industry, who knows the technical nuances, and there is a emerging need who can connect the both, right? So play interface between that highly tech-driven roles and highly strategic-driven role. And then again, there are more opportunity in government sector, right, in terms of policy shaping and related to HTA bodies and payer organization like insurance companies and all. And on the right side, you will see many roles based on the type of job that those roles will do: analytical, strategy, customer facing. So market access is, I would say, a very interesting area, right? Because it is one of the few careers which combines science, business, and analytics. It is one of the area where there is significant increase in the focus across global pharma industry, and even in countries like India, which is primarily out-of-pocket market, but with many of the policy shaping that is happening, even HTA frameworks are being defined in markets like India, right? So there is going to be an increasing demand in the market area, and some of the key skills or maybe some of the key foundational skill that will be required in this area is definitely some of the basics like pharma and healthcare knowledge, and then core domain knowledge related to healthcare systems, HUR or market access is the foundational skill. Analytical and technical skill is really high importance in this era of AI and data and digital, right? So technical skills, so you need to build those skills. And then strategic and business skill and also communication becomes a differentiator skill, which differentiate you from rest of the competition, right, that are coming to the market when you seek for jobs and roles in this industry. And then tech skill, which are emerging fast. So these are some of the, I would say, skill that you should really focus on if you want to build a career in market access. And in the end, I would just leave you with the thought that you also need to continuously learn and stay curious. So build strong foundation in science and business. Most of you are from the science background and you are pursuing MBA, so I think it's a very good marriage of both kind of skill that will be relevant. Develop analytical skill and strategic thinking. Gain exposure through internship. Maybe learn some practical skill, and networking is really important. Find a mentor, maybe through your professor, through your senior who have already joined industry, or you can reach out to any of us, right, who visit. And also focus on long-term skill development, because market is evolving, so you need to continuously evolve in terms of your skill and capabilities. So this is really important. And I think I'm already above my time. So thank you, everyone. And I'm happy to take any question, either now or maybe later. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir, for your enlightening and thought-provoking address.
Next up, we are honored to welcome Mr. Amit Kumar Das, sir, Country HR Head and Director HR at Novo Nordisk India, Bangalore. With more than 30 years of experience across FMCG, healthcare, chemicals and manufacturing sectors, Mr. Das sir has had leadership roles with JSW Group, Asian Paints, Timken and Allergen across India and Southeast Asia. He specializes in leadership development, talent strategy, organizational capacity building, and change management. He is also a guest faculty at premium institutes including IIM Ahmedabad and a frequent speaker at global HR and business forums.
May I invite Mr. Amit Kumar Das sir to kindly come forward and address the gathering. A very warm welcome, sir.
Good morning, good afternoon. A lot to IIHMR. I know students, it's already 11:10. I would just request for 15-20 minutes, hold your bladders for some more time, because when you continuously move in and out of the room, it actually takes the zing away from the speaker, because it's very difficult then to hold the attention. So my request is just hold on for 20 minutes, just don't do too many movements out of the room. I was actually trying to see in AI, is there a way by which we can keep you all in the room? It gave me suggestion, but ultimately then I will need Saurabh sir's intervention. So that's where human comes in. You can't only do with AI. But my topic is, I think, very interesting, because 5 years back, I think in India, this discussion started all about AI, that what it is going to do. And all of us know that we used to get very scary reports that 20 million jobs will be wiped out. You will, AI will take over everything. And we thought it's fine. A lot of these transitions come in our life, and then we adopt to them, which is also true. Many of you may not have been born when we have seen year Y2K, and some of the co-panelists here will resonate with that. At that time also there was a big transition. Then there was a lot of opposition of digitalization which was happening in India, and including trade unions, thinking that the jobs will go away. But it has not happened. It actually created more jobs. And the convenience and ease which digitalization brought, we all know. Our memories fade very fast, but we know that 5 years back, we had this massive COVID which struck us, and that was the time when we actually devised that even virtually we can work, we can connect. Things like Zoom started, Teams meetings started, and I will always call this era of AI as pre-COVID and post-COVID. In pre-COVID, I think it was a talk about AI. In post-COVID, it is becoming a reality. And if you are following what happened in the AI summit, not the fiascos, I think though they become more popular, but actually the whole intent of AI summit was to bring this intelligence into execution. And this is a phase where the execution will take the priority. Because now we know that everything can be generated, everything can be designed. How do you do a seamless execution of that? And that's where the human element will come in. So when I was doing or preparing this presentation for all of you, I thought, what is that which will be important, which will be also a little bit generic for you to understand in this landscape what is changing. So if you look at demands of the healthcare industry, and I will categorize, whichever domain you are from, but all of you are from the healthcare industry. If you look at it, patients are increasingly behaving like an empowered customer. Correct? The moment doctor prescribes a molecule, or if you have some symptoms, you go and get educated about it. And there is enough and more information which is available. Okay? And you are much better informed as a consumer. So is it the innovative molecule which is going to take precedence, or is it the overall consumer insight and how consumers are dealing with the product is going to take precedence? That's one big change which has happened. If you look at drug discovery and clinical trial design, they are also happening through more generative models. There is a lot of generative models which are getting used even in clinical trials. So when you are designing the clinical trials with the kind of outcome you are looking at, you also use generative AI to find out what is going to impact and what will be useful. Third, if you look at diagnostic augmentation, advanced imaging, pathology, and screening, everywhere you find that AI is getting used. Now, these large learning machines or the models on which the AIs actually work, they have become so advanced and more learning happens. I always believe it's like a human brain, exactly same. From childhood till now, you keep learning. And as you keep getting learned, your demonstrated behaviors change. Same way, the machines are learning now, and they are able to exactly replicate what a human brain works. That's why it's called artificial intelligence. You look at accelerating regulatory expectations. In this space also, lot of AI, lot of data, lot of insights are being used. Basically, if you look at the entire healthcare space, it is not remained untouched. What does that mean? Does that mean that, machine will take over? Then what will happen to us as professionals? My answer is big no. And as we move ahead in my presentation, we'll unfold why. Why it is important to coexist with the AIs or the new terminologies which are coming and entering our life. But first, let's get the basics right. And please pardon me, I'm sure all of you are aware of this, but I thought that it's very important to demystify these terms. I remember when digitalization was at peak, we used to talk about digitization, digitalization, we used to talk about digital transformation without much knowing about what does that each mean. And we were interchangeably use it. Even today, if you ask yourself, what is digitization, what is digitalization, and what is digital transformation? Even within your cohort, if you discuss, you will get different meanings. But as long as you understand that is very important. Now, we have reached an era where this has become the talk of past, and we are talking about the new terminologies which are impacting our day-to-day life. Am I untouched to that? No. We all need to know, we all need to embrace. So let's look at the tech solutions from basic to breakthrough, what it has happened over last 8 to 10 years. RPA. Have you heard about RPA? Okay, let me get an honest answer. How many of you have not heard about RPA? Raise your hands. Not heard. It's fine. It's absolutely fine not to know everything under the sun. But now with chat GPTs and all the generative AIs in your hand, you can always do that. And that is one capability or competence which will differentiate you from the others, which is your curiosity to learn. So if you look at RPA, robotic process automation, and I have seen that in my previous assignment, where we were setting up an ultra-modern paints plant, and we used RPA model there. And when you say robotic process, they are not like robots, what we see in Bollywood movies, mimicking acting. They are basically processes. So they are machines. And I have seen a paints plant which got commissioned during my tenure in JSW, which used robotic process automation to its core. So starting from paint mixing to packing and loading it in the cart or in the vehicle, it was entirely done through robotic process. So that's robotic process automation, basically software robots that automate the repetitive rule-based task without human intervention. This was RPA. Then you might have heard about large language models. Okay, this also many a times we use this word interchangeably, but very important to know that it's a deep learning model which is trained on large text database to produce human-like language. The brain or reasoning engine with AI agent system. Now example is ChatGPT and Gemini and many other such tools which have come. They are generative AIs. They are based on large learning models. Then we use this word artificial intelligence. Everyone is using it nowadays. Technology that enables machines to mimic human intelligence, learning, reasoning, and problem solving. A chatbot, typically in a company you would have seen, especially the customer service oriented organization, they use a lot of chatbots. So it's very difficult to actually find out that number 9 and reach out to the agent to whom you can talk. Correct? When things go wrong with some of the service providers, tell me honestly, what does you look for? You look for a chatbot to answer your queries, or you want to talk to someone? Chatbot or talk to someone? I am getting very mixed responses. Okay, give me a shout if you are saying chatbot. Chatbot? Talk to the agent? I think this room has more millennials. Even I prefer to talk to an agent because these chatbots are still learning. And sometimes, nowadays you might be receiving call from some of the banks, with due respect to all the banks, where they call and then a chatbot is talking to you, or a RPA agent is talking to you, and a very funny, the way we are used to calling our names in a very Indianized way, but then you will hear someone calling in a very different tone your name, and then you feel little unreal while talking to them. But this is a very, very preliminary stage, and I am sure it will take up. Some of the first apps which you use on daily basis, say Swiggy, Zomato, or any of that, I don't think there it is easy to reach any agent. It is always, with the chat you interact, and most of the time you are able to get your answers. So customer service as an area is one where it's not getting used, and a chatbot that answers customer queries. Next is generative AI. Now, generative AI is basically you give prompts and you get a response, isn't it? That's why it's called generative AI. The next one, I'm not sure how many of you have heard about agentic AI. Raise your hands if you have heard about agentic AI. Be honest. I'm so happy that all of you know. Okay, so AI systems that act autonomously to achieve goals, making decisions, taking actions without constant human input. That's called agentic AI, and this is what we are all actually as human beings are worried about. That when agentic AI comes, will my job remain? And let me tell you, I was reading an article where the whole workforce planning now getting done based on full-time employees you need to have, and then how many agentic AIs you need to have. So there will be meeting rooms where there will be agentic AIs who will take over all the process, and then there will be human beings. Now when I'm saying agentic AI, they are not people like us, they are not our clones. They are processes which get done end to end without any human intervention. And that's where the real benefit of this entire AI world, what we are talking, you will generate. Doesn't mean that's going to take over, it's going to take over repetitive tasks, it is going to take over those processes, but it will create more jobs. Now what is that which will take precedence over this AI? What is that which will be required? We'll just unfold quickly in next few slides. Is this clear? All the terminologies? Okay. So AI and robots are here to stay. That's the reality. I was reading another article since, it's such an interesting domain for me, and I was also presenting in one of the forums, and I read about robotic masons. See, if you look at India landscape today in the real estate industry, what is happening is the real estate input costs are going up significantly. And there is also a shortage of labor. So there is a 1/3 availability against what you require. Now, there are robotic masons which have come out, which actually do your task when you are building a house or building any complex at 1/3 the cost. Now, they are actually robots who goes and fixes the bricks, the building blocks of any building. Today, it's a big challenge in India to do that, because that's the reason many a times you find that a lot of projects get delayed, because there is a supply shortage of laborers. Whereas when there are robotic masons who will do this job, and they have been doing it, and they are doing at 1/3 the cost. Look at the benefit what you get out of this. There are delivery robots. I am sure you have heard about delivery robots, where they go and deliver. And there are also drug delivery robots. Also in India, there are a lot of robotic surgeries nowadays getting performed, and I am sure you are aware of it. Knee replacement and various types of surgeries. So it is invading our life. Like 20 years back, it was a passion actually. I have seen my father to plan, go to a bank, get entry done in his passbook. Today, I think all of us, we don't know which branch our main account is, because everything is digital. In 20 years, it has just invaded our life. It has just gone into the, it just got into our life. It's so important. So this is also going to happen. So what does this mean for early talent? Forecasting in AI and accelerated world. So it's completely challenged. It is completely new. What is the talent readiness, what you need to look at? I think statistical and data fluency, dashboards, interpreting variability, understanding model biases, these are something which would be very important. I am so happy to see that in your curriculum you have all this. I was talking to one of your professor yesterday night, and I was so happy that it is getting covered. If you look at market access, and I think my friend Gaurav has spoken, Madhumita also spoke about it. He has also put this here, HEOR report, the basics of that, AI augmented policy insights, comfort with predictive modeling outputs, and ability to build access narrative. Talent readiness for commercial excellence, I think very important that we need to have AI and CRM fluency and human-centered selling, omni-channel play design. These are some of the new things. I have shared this PPT with your organizing team. If you are interested, you please reach them and take it. The new skill portfolio, I'm rushing a little bit because of the paucity of time. What are the new skill portfolios we are talking about today? And when the employers are hiring, what do they look for? One is proficiency with AI embedded workflows. You need to be very proficient in commercial execution, how these AI embedded workflows work. Decision-making ability. It's very important in this, that in this digitally literate, ethically grounded and commercially sharp sound judgment to leverage AI tools to make better, faster and better decisions. So how do you do that? How do you leverage these tools to make better decisions? That's where the human intelligence will come in. Prompt engineering, I think all of you know, I need not tell you how important it is. And also cross-functional influence. When you work in an organization, how you are leveraging technology to become more agile. So this is one end-to-end use case which I thought I will share, but I'll just skip it for now. And how we used it in our organization. It was very interesting case where we could not only enhance productivity, but we could also optimize manpower in our organization. So the AI human multiplier, for me, human value add, your creativity, judgment and empathy is going to remain. And how you use those traits or behaviors to build the other competence and use it along with AI will be the order of the day going forward. Organizational interest, like how the systems get integrated, how you are able to understand, how you are able to comprehend them, how you are able to use them for your better ability, how you are able to use them as per your abilities and enhance them. So I would just say that we stand at crossroad of automation or augmentation, exclusion or empowerment, despair or dignity. The machines won't choose. We as individuals will have to choose. Because this paradox, this dilemma is not new. Every age we have faced this. Every time this brings us to the crossroad. But how effective we are in terms of this crossroad where you have automation and then augmentation supporting it, exclusion, so we become excluded or we become empowered, despair, we can always say that, okay, fine, world is going against me, or with dignity you embrace and make it possible and use it for your best of your abilities. So finally I say that that is what something which you as individuals will choose. It's not that machine will choose. Thank you very much. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, sir, for your impactful words. We truly appreciate your valuable time and wonderful interactive session.
With this, we extend a warm and thank you for joining us today. Your expertise and insights will enrich this session and inspire new perspectives among our audience.
Moving forward, we shall now begin with the question and answer session. May I request Dr. Saurabh Kumar, sir, for moderating the question and answer round. Over to you, sir. We would request all the students to keep the questions concise and relevant.
So, good morning, everybody. We are running, a short of time. So, we'll just take one or two questions. So, student volunteers. So, anybody who wishes to ask a question? Yes. Yeah, you can just pass out, please.
Sir, how the Manav Vision of AI Summit impact on pharma industry? This my question is for Ms.
The AI summit on pharma industry? That's what is the question?
No, sir. Manav Vision of AI Summit, how impact on pharma industry?
Manav Vision.
Manav Vision.
Manav Vision, okay. See, I didn't attend the AI summit. I have just been reading about it. So I am not very sure about what Manav Vision is talking about it. But I know that in the AI summit, there were a lot of innovative products which were on display. There were also a lot of, because some of my colleagues went, also there were a lot of, solution providers. So integrated end-to-end solution providers using the AI. They were also a lot on display. So for example, today there are companies which are doing end-to-end screening. Only the final interview will be done by the company employee. So that takes over the entire process of screening and selecting. So like that, but it will be unfair for me to comment because I am not aware of this Manav Vision on the pharma world. If someone else knows, then possibly. No. But अभी करता हूँ मैं इसमें मानव विजन क्या है?
Sir.
Good morning to the esteemed panelists over there. My question is how to become irreplaceable. Since AI is taking over a lot of jobs, so which kind of professions will remain stable in the era of artificial intelligence?
Your question is to which speaker?
Ma'am, sorry sir, my question is to Ms. Madhumita ma'am.
Thank you for the question. What's your name?
Ma'am, it's Pratyasha Dasgupta.
Okay. Pratyasha, your question is whether we will remain remain relevant in the realm of growth of AI, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, I'll tell you something. I'll narrate a personal thing. I started my life 20 years ago, okay? Where I think, even internet was not there. To keep myself relevant to this market at every point in time, I think every 3 years, I've upgraded myself to what was happening next. For example, if you were proficient in doing print ads, television ad, I had to go and do a course to see how OTT is going to work. And therefore, how, as an advertiser, I'm going to be on OTT and what kind of reach and how the entire thing works. Similarly, in the AI generation, today, I think every 2-3 months, I go to Coursera and learn what's the next thing happening, what is the new thing happening. Because none of these technologies are going to, okay, they're auto-generating a lot of things, but a lot of human interventions are required to get the right kind of thing which I have been, insisting. Therefore, to keep yourself relevant, time and again, because the technology is leapfrogging, time and again you have to keep
doing your courses. Like right now I'm doing an AI course on something which is very different, on senior leadership. I just, I learned a lot of things like Claude, Galaxy, Apollo AI, which aggregates a lot of data, which also helps us to connect to our like-mindedness. But then I thought, I need to do something on senior leadership. Now, the derma technology is evolving, and a lot of things are happening on AI. For example, I will get a machine which will detect something to do with hair. So I'm actually doing a course of Italy to understand this entire technology. So you will remain relevant, but you need to keep upgrading yourself very, very constantly, which was not so some previous years ago. So I think to stay relevant, it is unlearning and learning all the time.
Thank you so much, ma'am.
Yeah, you can add.
I'll just quickly add, based on whatever I am seeing, there is, like what ma'am mentioned about cloud, and there is all this science has evolved, how you code. Now, for example, to become a coder, you don't need to learn coding. You can generate it, I can see the Gen Zs and the millennials using, chat GPTs and all these AI-based programs to do the coding. So quickly, in my mind, what remains and what will take precedence as humans, one is your ability to seamlessly execute things. So, roles where, like answering specifically to your question, roles where you have to execute seamlessly is what, will remain and will take precedence over other role. You would have seen some ads now where it says that, I have a bowling selection and chat GPT giving all the, prescription, what you need to do, or I want to start a, NGO. So everything is there. So maybe, 5 years down the line, we will not be standing and talking to you because you will know everything, what is going to be talked. But what will be important is that once you have the plan, how do you seamlessly execute that? Second behavioral trait, which will differentiate you from others, is how much problem solving ability you have. Now for that, you need to have knowledge of what ma'am spoke about. All that put together, how you are able to effectively solve problems. So seamless execution, problem solving ability, and do something which is beyond AI. Okay, that is something like, if you are developing a molecule, innovative molecule, which AI will not be able to do, or developing some processes which AI is yet not have thought about it. So that will take precedence. So these are the three areas, please remember, will take precedence in terms of your behaviors, in terms of your traits, going forward in next 1 or 2 decades.
Thank you
Did that
so
answer
much.
your question?
Yes, sir, completely. Thank you.
Good morning, sir. The session was very insightful. My question is for Amit Kumar, sir. So, as a pharmaceutical management student, I would really be eager to know the impact of AI on the prescriptive and predictive analytics for market access and supply chain.
Okay. For prescriptive and predictive analysis, I think we see the impact of AI. We already know that it has been completely taken over. The predictive analytics, when it came 10, 15 years back, it's not new. By the way, on these statistical algorithms, 15 years back, we did predictive analytics and we tried for hiring, in HR function. So it is already there. Now it has evolved so much, even forecasting, demanding, everything. I think these are the areas where machine first came in and the intelligence was used. I was telling someone yesterday that in 1999, Asian Paints was the first company to integrate SAP with I2. And I2 was a decision-making tool. Now if I go back and look at, 20, 30 years back, 25 years back, I think that time also it was getting developed. So it's not new, but it will have a huge impact. Impact in the sense that you will have to master that and work on the other side to further build it, ensure that it becomes more, it is able to give you better solutions and it is able to make your organizations more agile. So learning it, working on it, improving it is what will be the impact for students especially.
Thank you. So in the interest of time, so this is the last question we'll be able to take. May I request here?
Good morning, everyone, respected speakers, and to all my teachers. So my question is to all the speakers. So as we are talking about the pros of AI, this complete conference is all about pros of AI. I want to ask your point of view about, like, you told us, Amit sir, about the Mason robots. So when I was a kid, I used to come from school. My mother, I used to say her that I'm very tired. She used to say me ki pathar tod kar aayi hai kya? Look at the workers working outside. Sir, I want to know ki AI is taking over all of us in all our activities. I want to ask you that, don't you think it's an irony somewhere that we are treating robots for the surgery, and I think somewhere we are depending on them, due to which we are facing these physical problems. So what is your point of view on that?
I have spoken a lot. I have a strong view on that, but I'll go last. Let's hear Gaurav and
Come, Gaurav.
No, I think it's this irony, and I think Mr. Das has already highlighted, right? This has been the paradox for a very long period of time when automation, any kind of automation came in. That was the irony, right? Whether the automated processes or robots will take away all the jobs. And now we moved into digitization area, and now we are moving into AI area, right? This is going to be, but human is more intelligent than AI, right? So and I think Mr. Das in previous address has already explained, we need to think beyond AI, right? What AI can do and what we can do on top of that, right? Leveraging AI as an enabler and not being scared of it. So I don't think, because today it is AI, maybe in 10 year, 20 year down the line, it could be something else. Even just because of your thinking intelligence, things might come in future, right? That you think about it and there will be some technology to capture your thoughts as well, right? So you never know. It's just about the human imagination which brings those thoughts into reality. So human is anyways more intelligent, I would say. So we just need to use as an enabler and not scared about it. But definitely we have to keep ourselves abreast with the latest advancement and technologies and evolve our skill accordingly, right?
I will only say that I also have very strong views on it, but it does make us a little vulnerable because everything is out there. And it can pose a lot of security problems if you're seeing from the con point of view.
Ma'am, I'm impacting basically the health. We are improving health with AI, but somewhere AI is also responsible for
our mental health especially, yes, I do understand. So, yeah, it does. But you know, human mind has to be trained as to how much is enough, right? If you're looking at it from the personal healthcare point of view, it does. It makes you also very vulnerable. It captures a lot of things. It has led 3 girls to commit suicide very recently, the AI game. So I do have strong views on it. But then you have to know where you have to stop. And that is our mental ability to do it, right? For example, anything that you do, even for example, you know, maybe as MBA students, we like to party and we can actually overdo a party which may not be good for health. Similarly, there are restrictions which need to come on AI. There could be, I was talking on some other forum and I said that on certain AI tools, etc., there has to be some age restrictions. There has to be possibly restrictions on looking at the entire economic data of a person, that whether it can be used or not. So it does make us vulnerable, but yes, everything has its limitations.
Yeah, no, I think ma'am has covered. I will just say that quickly coming to your question. See, it is improving productivity, it is improving efficiency, it's improving agility. But it is people who are driving it. So let's look at surgery. Now, if you have to do an open heart surgery, and if you are told that a machine will do, a robot will do, instead of a doctor, whom will you benefit? Whom will you trust more? Doctor. But then if I throw a data to you that a human being doing a bypass or an open heart surgery, the failure rate is 5 out of 10. And when a robotic surgery happens, the failure rate is 0.1 out of 10. Which will you prefer? So it is as simple as that. As we go forward, more and more data comes in, more and more trust sets into that. But that will not mean that, that the doctor's role will get eliminated, because interventional cardiologist will still remain, who's detecting. The person who's going to supervise that robot doing the surgery will still remain. So, going back to the robotic mason thing, today we have a shortage and it is getting filled up with that void is getting filled up with that. Will it lead to, I am a student of social science, I can tell you, will it lead to wide scale problem of unemployment? Answer is no. The reason is, the people, see, there is a layer where, you need the people who do human work. Like, for example, the delivery which happens to you. 10 minutes, Blinkit, Zepto, all that. Someone will deliver it to you. Those jobs will remain. People who are developing molecules, people who are developing deep AI insights, and that job will remain. Who will be impacted? जितना ज़्यादा middle layer में आप पढ़ाई करोगे वहाँ impact है. So it is very important. A person who's delivering, with all respect, will continue to be there. But person who's doing coding and this, 1.4 million engineers which India is churning out may become irrelevant because you don't need them. But they will transition into some other role. That's my view, because it's still too early to talk about it. But it is going to impact that. So you will have to keep upskilling yourself to ensure that, you become relevant. And that is where I say, whether despair or dignity, you as individual choose.
Yeah,
Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much, all the students, for your question, and thank you, speakers, for the answering comparers. Yeah.
Thank you to our distinguished speakers for your insightful responses, and heartfelt thanks to our audience for your active participation.
We now proceed with the felicitation ceremony, for which I would like to request Dr. Saurabh Kumar sir and Dr. Surinder Singh Chauhan sir to felicitate our esteemed speakers with a token of sincere appreciation. We would request Ms. Madhumita Manna ma'am to kindly step forward and accept humble token of gratitude.
Thank you, ma'am. Mr. Gaurav Rohila, sir, please come forward.
Thank you. Thank you, sir. Mr. Amit Kumar Das, sir. Kindly step forward.
To wrap up with this incredible session, I now request Dr. Surinder Singh Chauhan, sir, to kindly propose the vote of thanks.
I'm not going to ask whether the session was interactive. Yes, it was interesting session. We all enjoyed, we all learned a lot. Thank you, ma'am, and thank you, sir. Thank you, Dr. Saurabh. Thank you, faculty members. Thank you, all the participations. Thank you very much.